Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about a new project for the new year, and it's basically starting off the year in a really relaxing fashion. So something to inspire us, something to start getting the paintbrushes out after the busy holiday season, and just starting to sprinkle in the new year with a little bit of painting. So I'm really excited about this. I've been setting up for it this week and kind of doing it through the days and through the video, and I've been really enjoying it, and I feel like hopefully you guys will also enjoy it. So what we're gonna do it in is this is the Handbook Journal Co sketchbook. So it is cellulose paper, it's not cotton, but it's just a really beautiful paper. That dries really quickly. It takes the paint really well. You can see that it glazes really nicely, so you can build up those layers. So this is my plein air sketchbook. So I take this out and I'll sketch from like on location, and so we will talk about that and do a bit of a flip through of that in a whole nother video. So I chose this one, like I said, because it's going to be quick to dry, and at the minute I don't have much time, so I need something quick, and also it's accessible, like it's already out. I'm using it for something else, but yeah, you can use any sketchbook that you'd like for this. So I'm just showing you that 2 years ago I did a similar type of a project where at the beginning of my planner, in the monthly planning section, I started with a color a day, and then I kind of went into patterns and emblems and sketching little roses and little different things off my printables. So I found it really enjoyable, as you could just kind of sit down at the end of the day, and if you couldn't paint that day or do something else, you could still kind of think about color, think about little compositions and different form and the way to create things and paint things, and just kind of, it's also a memory of the things that I was thinking about and working through artistically that month, like things that I was kind of thinking about for different paintings and things. So I didn't get through the whole year for this project. I think I only got to July or August, but that's not the point of this project. It's not really one that you need to kind of get through the whole year. The whole point of this was kind of just to strengthen those artistic muscles, especially like in the beginning of the year when you're quite tired. You don't necessarily want to pull everything out, and you don't necessarily want to start on a big huge project, but there's little things that you can do each day just to pick up the paintbrush and then see if if you have a bit more time, or if you feel like wanting to do a bit more, it just jump starts that creativity. You can see in this one that I used pencil. I didn't use watercolor, mostly because this paper wasn't really loving it, especially like when I'd flip it back and forth. So yeah, I was enjoying it this time using pencil, but I thought for this year I wanted to do the project again, a similar project, a little bit differently executed, but kind of in a different way. So we're doing it with watercolor, and yeah, we'll get a little bit more into that. One of the things this also ends up being a kind of art notes for yourself. So remembering the colors that you're enjoying, like I really love that pale blue emblem there with the roses in it, and also just remembering things, like taking notes for things that you may want to do a bigger a larger work from, but you just don't have time to kind of think about that at the minute. And then you can also see here that there's pages that are very haphazard and just full of just getting some little color marks on the paper. you know, a musician has to practice their scales and then their arpeggios, and an athlete has to practice their drills, and you know, everyone has different things they need to practice. So for us, it's color, it's mixing, it's composition, it's like drawing skills, and you can start on a small scale. So what I'm showing you here is my page. So I started with kind of a double page spread for the, you know, just to start the project. And I'll show you where this was inspired by, but at the end I didn't like the garland underneath, so I've just erased that and kept the roses. One of my goals for this year is to paint and draw more roses. Okay, so this is a beautiful book, and this is kind of going to be my color theory guide, I feel like, for the year, like a color textbook, if you will, for me. So I wanted to share a little bit of it. This is a Trisha Guild book, and it's a really beautiful one. So again, I got this one secondhand for $20 off Amazon. You can see it's a huge book. It's probably 11 by 15 or something, and yeah, it's just really, really packed full of inspiration and different patterns and color play and things. So I will just give you a little bit of a flip here, and then I'll show you the pattern that caught my eye. So she's sketched this little pencil. It's really nice there as well. With this book, I hope to stimulate ideas and creativity. So yeah, it's a similar thing that this project is trying to do throughout this year. So you can see this little hand-drawn, not yet, but you can see this little hand-drawn kind of floral emblem here. This ends up in kind of a trellis pattern on the wallpaper. So I really loved that, and I kind of took that as a point of inspiration for that page. But then yeah, I didn't love that, so again I'll try something like that on one of the other pages. You can see here how beautiful it is, like even the way that she has enlarged the pattern, and then she's used kind of softer grays. Like there is contrast, it is black and white, but she's softened it a little bit. She's brought in a little bit of this chartreuse, but it's again been softened. It's not quite in your face. So yeah, I just love the way that she puts rooms together. I love the way that she puts colors together and all these different patterns, and somehow it just all works. There's solids, there's stripes, there's, you know, very busy oversized patterns, and it's just so beautiful. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways that I've thought about that you could do this project, but there's so many different ways. So you can certainly like adapt this to how you would enjoy to do it. So if you have a little bit more time, you might enjoy doing this. You know, I've got a couple of different more advanced and you know, exercises that take a little bit more time. The one that I'm doing on this page, I kind of want it to be like a patchwork quilt and kind of like you know, old worn wallpaper. So kind of peeling and different colors and layered over time. So I am just creating kind of different colors on here, so you'll see kind of different, and I'm also thinking about how I'm applying it. So here I'm putting water down first, and then I'm going to put the color into that, because I felt like on this day, so this would have been the 3rd, and we got Millie some tennis balls and she was just loving them, and so that she'd been playing with it that morning, so I wrote on there the color of Millie's tennis ball. So different things, it can be, you know, a color that you're thinking about for art, it can be something that's inspired you throughout the day from your daily life, and seeing how kind of it's almost like a little bit of a color journal. So I'll see how kind of the year eventuates, and how, yeah, what the pages look like at the end of, you know, a month or 2 months, just kind of how the color, how that day felt in a color really is what I'm doing on this page. So it's very low key, it's, you know, it's just a really enjoyable kind of way to think about color and to pick up the paintbrush. And like I said, some days, especially for me at the minute, it's quite busy, so I don't have a lot of time. You can see there I've also snuck in an emblem, so that's the other thing that I will probably do on these pages, is that I'll go back and maybe paint over some of these on some of the days, or I might add in drawings over the top of them or in between them. So this is also a great project to use the printables. So I was actually looking for mine. I think I'm going to have to print some more out, but that's the kind of thing I created them for, so that you don't have to think about it. If you only have a few minutes to sit down and paint, you already have something there pre-prepared that you can pick from and then paint it or sketch it, and it really helps to make the most of the time that you have. So that's kind of where I was in that project. That's my actual color a day project started on those double pages, but I wanted to kind of do this page here, and we'll kind of finish it together, so, and put it together fairly quickly so that you can see kind of different ideas and ways that you could do this. For example, with the one color a day, you might do, you know, many marks, you might use it quite a lot on the page, and then come back the next day and kind of add to it. You can also use tape. So here, like, I haven't taped down anything, but you know, this is where this project, you can tailor it so well to the things that you enjoy doing. So yeah, so, you know, the next day you might come in and just add little bits and pieces to the page, and you'll be surprised at how it kind of all comes together. So you can see quite a few different ideas here, like the first thing that I started with the neon pink, that's kind of like inspired by the spine of the book, the Trisha Guild book, and then I've added in some mixing, a color wheel. So the mixing that I'm doing here is Perylene green, and it's a Greenleaf and blueberry one, I think Eggshell, and then the one I did before was American Journey Apricot with the Indigo, Daniel Smith Indigo. So yeah, just kind of seeing how colors mix and colors that I'm thinking of. So again, like, you know, this is supposed to be very, very relaxing. It's supposed to not be stressful at all, and just a really enjoyable way to have something pre-prepared and planned to kind of do each day that will ultimately work towards building and boosting, like building your skills and boosting your confidence. So yeah, very quickly what I just did was add some kind of little leaves and some little floral designs, some larger ones, some smaller ones. Obviously you can take a bit more time than this. I think I just quickly kind of put this page together in like 10 minutes, so it doesn't have to be a lengthy process, but if you take a little bit more time and care, you know, obviously it will come together very nicely. So this is the next page that I thought about. Some of you may want to lean into that kind of loose style, and then some of you may want a more structured way to think about and learn about color with this project. So you know, really using it to get to know your colors better and to really grow some skill in actual kind of painting knowledge. So this is what I thought would be a good one for that. So you can actually use tape to grid up the page, and then you want to put down the paint, and then so you'll see in a minute with the apricot as well, I put down the paint, then I dip my brush in water, and then I do the rest of the square, or the rectangle, so to give it a gradient effect. So you're practicing gradient effects. You'll be able to see it a little bit better here, I think. So, and then you dip it in water just once, just very lightly, just in the top of your glass. You're not trying to saturate the whole, like all the hairs up the ferrule. You just want a little bit of that color gone, and then you can go back in with color and do a second wash at the top there. And then I'm also waiting till that's dry. I am being summoned, but I'm also waiting till that's dry, and then I'm putting a second glaze on, and I'm using this to see, you can see I've put the little emblems there just with a fine liner, and I'm using that to see how opaque or how transparent the color is. And then up in the right hand corner here, I'm using a so I've put the brush in the water to clean it off, and then I've dried it, and then I am picking up some of that color to see how well it lifts. So if you want to get even more detailed than this, I do have another video, I'll link it below, on how to create like the little cards that I leave on my desk. You might want to do one of those a day, but I thought this was a really good way to practice the main points. You don't really get any of the pigment information or any of that on here, but it's just a really nice and still a fairly quick way to explore the color, to learn about the color, and to learn some of those basic skills with watercolor as well. So the next page here, so I've kind of left a page for each of these things depending on the day, you know, how I feel, how much time I have, so, and also probably what colors I'm thinking about as well. So, but this is a mixing page. So right here I am mixing the Nibs Azalea with Holbein Lilac, and it's just a pretty one. They're both really pretty colors, it makes really pretty mixes. Yeah, so you can see here the three different types of pages that you could create and depending on what you want to learn about. So I'm going to go have a little bit of Millie time, and then we will be back to talk about mornings with Millie. So as you can see, she's as rambunctious as ever. She just loves playing with her tennis balls. She loves sticks. She loves airplanes. She'll hear them before anyone else does, and then she starts looking for them up in the sky. Yeah. She's still not at a stage where you can leave her alone. As you can see, she's a bit of a little hurricane running around and getting into things that she shouldn't be. Yeah, and then other than that, wherever you are, she wants to be. So you'll see at one point I've gone in to get her some water, and then I've hooked her onto the door, and no, she wants to come in if I'm inside. So yeah. So let's just talk about things that Rosie, the little white dog, has taught Millie. And one of those is to sit, and then also she's taught her, you can see that she's been watching Rosie jump up for her treats, and then she thinks she should, but then she does learn here to sit. And then they also, you can see here where we're at, they sit together with the cage open to have their treats, and then I'll let Millie outside, and then Rosie sneaks in and gets her treat. And then later on you'll see like they're getting closer together, but then you'll see that later on Millie's also got the Rosie's pink bunny in the cage, so they kind of share. But I think the video is about to wrap up, so two kind of announcements that I wanted to say. If you want to follow more about this project, the Colour a Day project, you can follow me over at Poetique on Instagram. So I've just opened up like a fresh Instagram for the new channel name, and I feel like it's just a nice time to start. You can see she just wanted to come in, and then she's also trying to teach Rosie that she should love tennis balls, but Rosie's just not having it. But also my brother took her out before I did this morning, and he's put her harness on a bit crooked, but anyway. So yeah, you can see her here with Rosie's little pink bunny. But yeah, so you can follow me over at Poetique for more about this. I don't know how many, like I'll probably do a video later on in the year, but you can find me there weekly with updates. And then the other thing is that I won't be back for 2 weeks. I'm trying to get the landscape class done, so there may be sneak peeks until then. Oh, Gussie. But there may be sneak peeks. And yeah, in 2 weeks, hopefully it'll be done, or at least there will be a video kind of updating you when that's on. So yeah, that's 6 hours worth of painting, you know, every brush stroke, and all the compositional things, all the mixing things. So I think you'll enjoy it. You can see here that Rosie is riling Pussy out at our cat, and yeah, that's what she doesn't like Millie doing to her. But yeah, okay, so I think that wraps everything up. I will see you guys in 2 weeks, and yeah, have a really lovely week. Bye.